Hello lovelies, it is Susie Ashworth here, mind shifter messaging mentor, founder of the Baby Business School and the Calm Birth School, and I want to say welcome to my page. If this is the first time you've been here, if you haven't, if you don't know me very well, I want to say welcome. Now I had set up, hey Sophie, I had set up a kind of snazzy little Susie's going live at 2, but I don't know how to get onto that, so I don't know whether it's coming up as it should do or not, but I am here. Hey Karen. Karen, I haven't seen your video this morning. Where is it? Sophie, I think you've posted it. I haven't quite watched it yet, but I will do later on. Hey Antoinette. Oh, it's nice that people are coming on. So look, today is day 1 of the Visibility Challenge. Can we just take a moment to acknowledge that it is also the Easter holidays? I have lots of children in the background doing their thing with grandparents and husbands, and it's busy. Just to let you know. Hey Hannah, and I get you. And thank you Hannah for being here. Hannah is part of the inspiration for today's live. So I'm going to be on here every day, with the exception of tomorrow. I'm going to aim for 2 o'clock, but it may be a little bit earlier or a little bit later because I am travelling. But I'm going to be on here every day, giving you some extra tips, hints and advice. I will also be critiquing some of the posts that go up in the pre and postnatal group so that you really get as much value from the next 5 days as possible. The reason that you are here and the reason that we're doing this challenge is because you know that in order for you to book more clients and build a bigger, more profitable and sustainable business, you have to be seen. And so as somebody who has now, hey Alison, who has now been in business for coming up to 4 years, I have created, I'm very proud to say, multiple 6-figure business. I know what it takes in order to build a profitable and sustainable business. Hey Layla, hey Penelope, and the number one thing, there are lots of other kind of little pieces of the puzzle which we can talk about at another time, but the number one thing to get you going and get you earning and get you impacting lives in the way that I know that you want to impact them is to be seen, to have your message seen and heard. And this is what the next 5 days is all about. Now, I am really conscious that it is the Easter holidays, and I know that a lot of people are like, I've got my mum hat on, how do I do this? And this came up today in a talk with the lovely Hannah in the Limitless Life group. And she was just like, and I thought this is a really perfect topic for today's live because it's hectic. And we all have so much going on, but the reality is that if we are unable to juggle the mum hat with the business hat, it means that every time your kids go on holiday, which is for 3 months of the year, your business grinds to a halt. And I know that it doesn't need to be like that. So I know that you can still be the mother that you want to be and show up and be visible and still be attracting clients when your kids are on holidays. So how do you do it? First off is that this, annoying as it sounds, is all about the preparation. So we know that we have 2 weeks of holidays, and for the people that don't have kids, come back in 5. I think it's relevant actually whether you've got kids or not, because life happens, but particularly when you have got children and the holidays are coming up, this is the time for you to plan in advance. So I want you to, I've shared this actually a couple of weeks ago on one of my live streams around the different types of topics that you can be writing about. Hey Anya, on a regular basis. And it's a really good strategy for when you're feeling confused, when you're not quite sure where to go. And I want you to, if you haven't got this already, I want you to be writing this down. So I now set my social media posts so I have 9 to 12 different categories that I am writing about all of the time. So one of those categories is me, one of those categories is my family, so sometimes that's my kids, it might be my sister, it might be my husband. One of those categories is impact, because the reason that I do what I want to do is I want to have a big impact on the world, and I want to work with people who want to have a big impact on the world. So I make sure that between every 9 to 12 posts, there is a post on impact. One of the categories that I write about is my blog posts. I share a blog post. One of the categories is inspiring quotes. And so if you look at my Instagram feed especially, but also my Facebook is slightly different because I do a lot of lives. And the reason I love lives is because they work so much harder for you. But when it comes to prepping and how you can prep effectively, is to write out your 9 to 12 different categories. And before the holidays start, you schedule all of these posts to run at least once a day. And you can do that using the Facebook scheduler on Facebook. And if you are using Instagram, there is a great app called Planoly, which you can use to kind of map out your grid, put all of your text and your images in, so that you can almost set it and forget it. So let me know if this is a useful strategy for you. Give me some hearts. What this means is that you can take 2 or 3 hours to map out all of your content for 2 weeks, so that you have at least one post per day. Now, within those 9 to 12 posts, of course, one of those posts should be a sales message. One of those posts should be letting people know how they can book with you, because that's why we're doing this, right? We talk about sales later on in the week in the Visibility Challenge, but you have to let people know how they can work with you on a regular basis, because people forget and we don't want them to forget. And sometimes people don't know, and we need to let them know. So visibility, although the focus of this is around video, I am talking about written posts. I'm talking about those odd little Facebooks where you pop in and just have a little short caption. Those also work. However, the reason that I am focused on video for these 5 days is because it really gives you the opportunity to get to know your clients, or at least your clients feel like they are getting to know you before you've even worked with each other. I bumped into a lady at the service station who has been, she's a member of the Baby Business School. So we've been working with each other via the internet for years. And she was like, "Hey, Susie." And I was like, who is this? But because she's so familiar with my face, she recognized me straight away. The reason that the video works so well is because people get to see you in 3D. It's like chatting with a friend. So visibility isn't just being on video, but it is the most powerful and quickest way for you to start building relationships with people. And when it comes to relationships, we buy from people we know, like, and trust. Video helps you do this really powerfully. However, when you're busy, when you're on holiday, when your kids are on holiday, pre-planning and scheduling your post, like I've just outlined, is going to be really effective for you. So that is point number 1. Point number 2 is, how can you start to feel so much more comfortable in video? So the reason why I was prompted to do this challenge is because one of the comments that I got from one of the ladies was, "Oh, I really want to go on video, but I just feel paralyzed. It just paralyzes me with fear, especially the thought of going live." Now, I love it when people go live, because when it comes to Facebook, at least, Facebook love live videos so much more than pre-recorded. And even when it comes to Instagram, you will get a lot more engagement if you start to post regular live videos in your stories. So the main platforms that you guys are using love live videos. So how can you make it work for you? So what I want to say is that I do not expect you to feel like Kim Kardashian by the end of the 5 days. Do you know what I mean? I don't expect you to be kind of lauding it up at all. It takes a lot longer than that to feel 100% comfortable. But here's the thing. I have now been doing this pretty consistently for at least 2.5, 3 years, maybe it's even longer. And so the way that I am on the camera now is not how I was when I first started my videos, and so I don't expect you to feel 100% comfortable. However, there are a few little tips and tricks that are going to help you, one, feel more comfortable, and two, make your videos more engaging for when people are scrolling through the news feed. So here's the thing, what happens with most people is that they do the video, but because they get over the first hurdle, which is pressing the live button. If you haven't done it yet, that is the first hurdle. And when you've done it, I want you to be like, yay, I got it going on, I just pressed the live. You can do that after you stop going live, but I want you to really be pleased with yourself. Most people aren't doing this. Okay, but what happens usually is people press the live button and then they are so scared of getting it wrong, of looking stupid, of feeling judged, that instead of just rolling with it, they're like, and so, talking really quietly, and just a little bit of a head nod, and if you can imagine scrolling through the feed and seeing me do this, it's so boring. Why on earth would you stop and look? And so what you will notice with me when I'm doing my feeds is I like to be animated. Now, to be fair, I am a little animated in real life anyway, but when I'm on video, it's that much more amplified. Why? Because if I look like I'm enjoying myself, if I look like I'm passionate about something, if I look intense about something, if people can see me gesticulating with my hands, when my video comes up in the news feed, people are much more likely to think, what's she talking about? So that is my first little tip for you. I want you to give yourself permission to be a little bit bigger. Allow your eyes to open a little bit wider. Allow your mouth to open a little bit wider than what you would be in real life. Now, I know that that is going to feel weird. I know that you are going to feel like a dick. But for the people who are watching it on the other end of the screen, it's going to look engaging. It's going to make them, they're much more likely to stop when there is a little bit more intensity than what you would be doing normally. So there is an amazing woman who said, that, Bev from Small Acorn. And the way that she talks about this is she talks about it as Steve Irwin in it up. You want to just turn the volume up on your presence, on your physicality, and on the way that you are communicating. So that one makes it that much more engaging on the other end of the screen. And although you may feel stupid, you won't look stupid on the other end. The second thing is, before you go live, I want you to imagine that you are not talking to the whole of the internet, because let's face it, when you've got 100, 200, 500 people, or even like me, a couple of thousand people on your page, you're not talking to the whole of the internet. You're lucky if you get 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 people coming on live when you're live. So instead of being like, oh, all these people are going to judge me, I want you to think, today I'm going to have a chat with my best friend or with my ideal client. And I want you to imagine that your ideal client is somebody that you're not trying to convince to buy into you. You're not trying to have to persuade them how good your service is. I just want you to talk just like you're having a chat. So when I'm talking with you guys now, the way that I'm talking is if I'm talking to one person. Not 19 people, not 20 people, not the people on the replay. Say hi if you're watching on the replay, by the way. I am talking to one person. And I'm just allowing that conversation. I'm acting as though it's a conversation. So rather than performing to the camera, I'm engaging with one person. Let me know if this is making sense. And when you think about it from an engaging with one person, as opposed to talking to the whole of the internet, can you imagine yourself just loosening up a little bit more? Give me some likes, give me some hearts. If the answer is no, also put that in the comments, because I'm here for this short amount of time to really give you some feedback and give you some help to make your videos better. So now is the time. If I'm saying stuff that doesn't make sense, or I'm saying stuff that you can't apply, then please let me know. So the first thing is to bring it up a little bit. And the second thing is to imagine that you're talking to a friend on the phone rather than performing to the whole of the internet. Okay, perfect. So look, those are my top tips. If you haven't done your intro video today, please go and do that on your page and then post it into the group. The other tip I'm going to give you actually is when you don't have people on live like this, try and keep the videos pretty short. And the reason being is we all are really short of time. And when we see something that's 4 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes in length, and we're not entirely sure what the content is going to be about, we either ignore it or we say we're going to come back to it later. When you have people on live and you can see all of the comments and you're getting engagement with people, for newsfeed people, that's like social proof. That's letting people know that the live is interesting and worth hooking on to. And so even when it's longer, when it's live and you've got people interacting, you are more likely to get more views because people can see all of the comments and they know that they're not going to be wasting their time. If it's just you, try to keep them to 3 minutes or under, because then people are like, okay, I'm going to take a look. Hannah's just saying, I'm excited to go live tonight. Been guilty of pre-recording my videos too often on my page. Absolutely need to step it up and just do it live. The other thing is you've all got limited amounts of time. Hey, Catherine, you've all got a really limited amount of time. When you do pre-recorded videos, it takes so much longer because you're trying to get to perfection. Perfection does not exist. You know, when I'm pre-recording videos for my courses and programs, it always takes so much longer than when I did it when I was doing it live, because I'm like, oh, I've just fluffed my words. I need to go back, or I need to redo this. I need to redo that. So that's why, not only because Facebook loves it and they push you up the news feed, but it stops you from going over and over and over again. And I really, really urge you is to just show up imperfectly. People love to see other people's vulnerability. And when you are able to show up imperfectly, it gives them permission to show up imperfectly. And I promise you that when you show up imperfectly now, in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks time, in a month's time, if you consistently show up, you're going to be that much better. So please don't worry about fluffing your lines. Please don't worry about feeling embarrassed. It's just a video. It's just a video, and the work that you do, I know that everybody who has signed up for this challenge, the work that you're doing is life-changing. If you refuse to give yourself permission to look like a bit of a dick sometimes whilst you're getting familiar and getting to know how to use this platform to its maximum, you are denying your ideal clients the opportunity of working with you. So please don't do that. I never finish my pre-recorded videos as I'm never happy with the results. Exactly, that's why you've got to go on live. Right, lovelies, That's it for me today. I will be back tomorrow and I will try to give you as much heads up about what time I will be coming live as possible. Please hit me up with any questions that you have in the comments here or over in the pre and postnatal group. And if you're watching this and you haven't signed up to the challenge yet, what are you doing? All you need to do is click on www.susieashworth.com/5-day-challenge and we can get going. No more excuses. Right. Mwah. Love you and thanks so much for joining me.